All right, good evening and welcome to week number 9 of our Inner Game Coaching. And we have Michelle with us tonight and all of y'all that are watching on the recording. Let me share our screen and bring up our PowerPoint. All right, can you see that?
I kind of see.
All right, good. So today we're talking about taking action in a major way. We've been talking about inspiration last time. And so we're going to talk about how do we use that inspiration and really help us to take action in a major way. So we call it inspired action. And our goal is both to recognize inspiration, to be more aware of inspiration, and then also and thus be more productive in our lives. Because we know that those who accomplish the most in life are very aware and very productive. And so how can we be using all that we've been learning so far and bringing up even a more practical application of it even tonight? So let's talk a little bit about this. So have you ever had a hunch or a feeling that you should do something and then you didn't do it, only to find out later that you really should have?
Yes. I'm now starting to learn to listen to that voice. I figure that's God talking to me, telling me that I should do something, whether it's leaving the house or put something in my car or, doing it and then, like do it now because otherwise I'm going to forget. It's just like, yes, that happens.
I sadly had a couple of instances earlier in life, luckily in my 20s, where I did not pay attention to that inner voice. I heard it. I just didn't give it the value that I should have. And I paid for it. And I learned, it was good because I learned in my early 20s that little inner voice that says, don't do that, or that person, there's something not right in that relationship, don't move into a commitment there, really has helped a lot and made a difference. So I learned from that to really give that inner guidance, that inner voice, a lot more weight and credence. So but often the difference between those who realize their dreams and those who don't is inspired action. And one of the things you said, Michelle, that was so powerful is that whole sense of, you said, when I hear it, I immediately do it. And that, we talk a lot about that the universe loves speed. And so when you have an inspired action and you act very quickly on it, you're going to be more open to inspired action. You're going to receive more and more. It's almost like because you believe yourself starts giving you that more, or because some of those inner promptings from God or from the Holy Spirit, you respond to that. And then, so he goes, okay, good. She's listening. I'm going to give her more. And so we do want, one of the things we talk about is when we have an inspired thought, to act on it as quickly as possible. And then as you do that, you will also see, oh, I'm so glad I did that. And then that, helps you to want to do it again quickly as well. So
I actually this week, Teresa, I had, because I work out for my brother. So I don't see a lot of people, and that's one thing I struggle with. And I actually was downstairs looking through papers, and there was this like community ed thing, and it had different classes, and you could do yoga and different things. And I ended up I thought I threw it out, and I ended up holding on to it. Well, then I had one of my brother's customers wanted to buy a lift. So I typed up the estimate, sent it out, and I wasn't sure if it went out with something, so I sent it again. So then she responded back, yes, I received it, thank you. And I don't know what made me read the bottom of it. Oh, I got to step back one bit. I had just been praying to God that he needs to open up the doors for me, show me the people, and make people, willing. So it's like, that my goal is to become an MND, but I can't do it without his help. So I'm asking him for his help, his guidance, and stuff like that. So this lady emails me back, and on the bottom of her email, it says she's a certified health coach. And so,
Oh,
okay, look this up or whatever. So I kind of looked up, and it's like, do I call her or don't I call her? Do I call her? Because I just talked to her, but I didn't know that. So it's like, okay, this could be God saying, you just asked for this, you just prayed for this. Here it is, do this. And so, then I called her. I didn't get her. I left a message, and she called me back. And, I don't know what's going to happen. I sent her some of my cards, the postcard that has all the fruits and vegetables on it. And, she believes in whole food nutrition, and people eating it. And I said, that's all great, fine, and dandy. And I said, and she's heard of Juice Plus before. I thought she said her kids had been on it and they're younger. So I don't know why she quit. But I said, if you run across people who are like me that, want to do better but don't like it, this is another alternative for them.
right.
So, and then in talking with her, I had talked about this, like that community ad that I thought I had put in the recycling and thought it had gone out to the recycling, that the garbage man took it away. And I actually had it. So it was just like, okay, I felt like that was God
Yep.
with all those things that hanging on. And then I'm thinking about it, and it's like, okay, join the, I can't think of what it's called, a Zumba class, because that will then, if I go to the class, I can meet other people.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to listen, and it's like, okay, there's where I think, with this, that, God's telling me this to do this and that.
Yeah. And it's so true. Again, what you say, like you take a step and then you see, like, just because you responded, you get another step and you get another step. And so
Right.
that's really true too for what you were saying. So, hey, Ellie,
Well, and I
did you
told
just
Sherry.
join us? I see. Is that you, Ellie?
Yes,
Hi.
I did. I joined you. Hey, how are you?
Welcome. Good. We're talking about
Thank
inspired
you.
action and responding to a hunch that we've had. And actually, let's ask that first question. What does taking inspired action mean to you? So Michelle's been sharing some great examples of that. She's already telling us that. Ellie, any thoughts for you? What does taking inspired action mean to you?
Oh my gosh, it has been an incredible last 3 days. It has. You know what? I've always gotten that gut feeling, like Michelle, like just, you just sometimes you're taking action and you're not sure why you have that incredible drive. But I've had that incredible drive for that Seeds of Change, to get the Tower Garden grant for school. And so I did. I applied for 3 grants for schools here by me, 1 in Minnesota and 3 in Florida. And 2 of them came through. They are accepted into the process, the first process. And
Yay!
I am so psyched about it.
That's fantastic.
And I'm really, really excited about that.
So these
yes,
are grants for you to go back to school?
No, the Seeds of Change is one of the organizations that offers grants to different schools for gardening.
Oh, perfect. To get Tower Gardens in.
And
I got you now.
Yeah. So getting Tower Gardens in, so it's fantastic. It's the first time going through all these steps. It's like all new, but I'm all good with that. And I've got some support for one of the schools to help me out to get it advertised, because we have to send out. The next part is the vote. It's not just writing a grant and they approve or disapprove. They accept you into the submission process, and then they go ahead, and the second process is getting the votes in. You go to the site and you click on the garden of that particular one, and that's a vote as of yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah. That's exciting.
It is exciting. I'm very excited. So it's going to be all pumped up until April 19th, because it's voting time during that entire season.
Okay. Well, you bring up our next point too. And when we talk about, how do you know when you've been inspired? And we talk about that taking inspired action. And one of the principles is that what was we talked about this last time. Now it was 2 weeks ago. So if you guys see if you can remember, what's the fifth law of the law of attraction? Can you remember it?
Believing?
No.
No. What was it?
Michelle, you got it?
You said it was surrender and trust in?
Good, to let go and surrender.
Yes.
To let go and surrender. And so one of the things we talk about is that the whole when we like sort of what Ellie is saying is she took action and now she's got to let go and surrender it, believing it's going to happen. Not being worried about it, letting it go. And so oftentimes we can see that too and we'll talk about this, but you set an intention and then you let go and follow the action that you get inspired with coming off of that intention. And sometimes the action doesn't seem to be, like maybe you set an intention, I'm going to have, my intention is to have 10 guests at this next event that I have. And then you listen and the inspiration, the action step is you want to go take a walk. And you're like, but do that. Go take that walk because that might really be, you're out on that walk and you meet somebody who you're to invite to your event, or like Michelle, you have this inspiration to go to Zumba class, and so you go, and there's people that you're getting to meet and know, and widening your bucket of people to draw from. So that is that sense of letting go and then listening for whatever that action is that comes on it. So, and this illustrates that a little bit. It talks about that letting go catalyzes inspired action. And you said it when you said trust. So we let go, we trust, and we give thanks. And when we're setting an intention, we're setting that intention. And remember, we're asking for that or something even better. Because we realize that sometimes what God wants to give us is even better than what we're asking for. And so we ask, God, I asked for, 10 women at this next event or even better. And God wants to bring more, I'm open to it, right? So I love this. Just enjoy your moments of inspired action without having an eye toward any sort of result. So I had this inspiration to go for a walk. I'm just going to go for a walk. I'm not going to, be making something of it. I'm just going to go and walk in that, respond to that inspiration, and trust that, it has some purpose. And I might not see it, but I'm trusting that. So that's really good. Okay, how do you face your fears? So sometimes when, like Michelle said, well, I had this thought I should call her. Well, should I? I just talked to her. I don't know, right? We have that. How do you face your fears?
I now am trying not to be afraid and just saying what is the worst can happen is people can tell me no, I'm not interested, not at this time. So it's like I'm looking at it now because I would say my fears are more personal rejection, and like I would take things personally if people, with things. And so it's like I'm trying to not take things personally, not worry about it, saying, if it doesn't happen, that's not what God meant it to be. Whatever's going to happen is what God means to be, and then pray about it and stuff like that. But just to not take things personally, figure, what's it going to hurt if I ask or do something and stuff like that.
Good. So bringing some perspective to it, right? I'm not going to die if they say no.
Right.
Right? Yeah. Good. Ellie, do you have any ideas of how do you face your fears?
Well, that's interesting because I am reading a book, The Power of Intention, and it's really good. And it's really, just putting the positive energy out there and just, really not getting attached to the outcome at all. And I really have been enjoying the process of just throwing the negative out and just, letting it go, So if someone says no, or, maybe it's just not right now,
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I've had people that have actually turned around after 2 years now are saying, I think I want to get on board with you, you know, and as much as join the team, and they weren't even taking the products. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's
this is
fantastic.
great. So,
Yay.
yeah.
Well, this
Yes, it
picture
is.
says,
Great.
the greatest limitations you will ever face will be those you place on yourself. And so one of the things when we're facing our fears, we've talked about this over and over, is looking for those limiting beliefs and clearing on them, right? And
Right.
so that's such a critical piece of it. So as you're coming up and discovering these limiting beliefs, you want to clear on them or call someone to help you clear on them. You might even, call people that are close to you and ask them to help you identify, like ask them, what limiting beliefs do you see that I have? Because sometimes other people see it more than we do. We're so used to it, right? And so we're always wanting to do that. All right, next, let's talk about what signals do you look for when moving forward? What does it mean to follow your hunches? What signals do you look for? How do you know when to move forward, when to wait?
I get a very strong drive, like I did with the Seeds of Change. I mean, I didn't know how many would go along, I
Good.
just kept reaching out, and I didn't stop. I did everything that I could. I sent an email. I followed up with a call. The next day I called, did you get my email? I know there's short notice. I'm sorry about that, but I really feel like this is a great opportunity for you guys to take advantage of, and I just want you to know that.
Oh, good.
And then after they, and even at that, it's another one more nudge to push them towards just go in and fill up the application. The application is not long; it's easy. It won't take that much time. These grants for this one are so easy to submit. Now, whether you get accepted is just another process, but and it's still, I'm not sure what the outcome is going to be, but I already feel good about it. So I just know that whatever it is, it's a learning process, and it's okay.
Right. And you're stepping out, and because you've stepped out, you're going to be attracting more of this to you. And so that might not be where you end, but it might be the step to the step to the step where, you're going to land. So
right, exactly.
We just step onto the next stone in front of us, and sometimes it's not, it's a stone on a stone on a stone, and we follow the path. So, well, I put these flags up here. Do you know why I put these flags up here?
I would say go slow, proceed with caution, and stop.
Very good. Very good. And so sometimes you'll have, a nudge. Sometimes you'll just have like Ellie, just go, right? Other times have you ever been in a relationship that maybe wasn't going well, and you had those little yellow flags in the beginning, right? And something just didn't seem quite right. Maybe they said something that was just off or inappropriate, and but you didn't really listen to it. You just sort of ignored it and thought, oh, it's just me, or they're just having a bad day. But then as you got further into the relationship, it became apparent that yes, this is a huge issue, a problem. It's a big red flag, and now you do have to do something. And so we want to sort of learn to, one, be aware. So pay attention to those flags that come up, even the yellow flags. Take time. Don't just dismiss them too quickly, but listen to them. Take some time to consider them. And the more you do that, the more you're going to see that. The more you're going to see those flags, either red, yellow, green. Obviously, there'd be less red if we responded to the yellow better, because we wouldn't get so far in that we go, oh, okay, now it's going to make a major, I have to make a major change to shift this. So, but that's some of what we're looking for as we're going through that. Okay, so those hunches. So, how to take inspired action. So we said this and just summarizing it, set an intention and then follow your hunches. You know, what do you sense? What is your hunches saying? What's that inner voice telling you to do? And just go for it. And we're going to talk through time management, some of the techniques, tips to doing that really well in a minute. But before we do that, we want to look at the fact that time management is a choice. We have to choose to be efficient and effective with our time. And so let's look at some of the pragmatic ways now to implement our goals. What are some of the pragmatic? And I love this section. So let's ask a couple questions and see how we're doing here. What distractions or time wasters do you have right now?
I would say, oh, go ahead. Or was that just me with an echo?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. I would say probably reading, like I can get into a book and then I don't maybe want to stop. Sometimes Facebook, but I've gotten better with that, of not watching that. So I don't jump on Facebook or Voxer every time I hear it go off, because I felt like I would stop doing things and then that would sidetrack me from what I was doing.
Good. Ellie, what distractions or time wasters do you have right now?
Sometimes Facebook, but one of the good things that I did quite a while ago was I put the chirping coming to my phone to let me know, and I don't get any notification that there's so many messages from Facebook or the numbers, you know, and I don't. Just the numbers are available on Voxer. And I know that Voxer's not urgent necessarily, so I don't go to it right away anymore. I'll go to it at some point during the day. If somebody needs my attention, they have to directly text me. Or Facebook Messenger, which is not, I don't have to go on Facebook to get there. So that kind of helps me guide my time a little bit better.
Good. How about email? What do you guys, how about, does email, is that a distraction or time waster?
No, I rarely use it.
Okay.
I think now that the email comes to my phone, it probably is better because I can look at it and I can easily see if there's ones for like my work that I have to do right away. And then usually my other ones, I just figure, you know, look at it whenever there's time, because I figured those, my personal ones, there's usually never nothing important on there.
Okay. Any other distractions? Sometimes I think like I can use things, distractions almost, and they become excuses. Sometimes my kids, like I love my kids. I want to be the best mom. And sometimes it's hard to balance. Am I being a good mom or am I letting them be a distraction right now? And that's something we are constantly trying to think through. And, you know, I'm always listening to that inner hunch about that for myself as well.
I try to, I don't know if I'm muted or not.
You're on.
No, I'm not. Okay. I used to answer the phone immediately when I started in the morning and not take that time for me.
Okay.
You know, with meditation or, you know, reading my scripture. You know, now I'm more apt to not pick up the phone before 10.
That's
in
great.
The morning if I'm off, you know, so that I can say, no, this is my time. So I will obviously see if there's an urgency to it, if there's a message. But if there's not, I get back with them after 10.
Good.
So that I can really focus on my day to know where I'm going and what I need to accomplish. You know, having looked at my list again that I made the night before, what I need to accomplish, and it usually gets done.
Okay. And one of the things you might do to help you figure out where are my time wasters is just to do a daily time log where you write down what you do every minute of the day. And when you look at that, you'll realize, oh my goodness, I spent all that time standing in line waiting for that Starbucks coffee. I could have been doing so much more. I don't know. I'm trying to just off the top of my head. But so looking at, some of those, do a time schedule for yourself. And that will help you. Because one of the things that we want when we talk about this whole lesson tonight on inspired action and time management is that brutal honesty with ourselves and just being really honest with ourselves about those areas. When you get the module worksheet, you're going to see a lot more in there, and it's wonderful. And it's not being brutally honest in a judgmental, critical way. It's really just for our own blessing and benefit. And so really being discerning, and so that we can grow and become and reach our goals and become all that we want to. So, and so even every week we have all these questions, and that's what they're just designed for, is to help us to be, really honest with ourselves, so that we can see, like, we really, now that we know, and I think you probably feel this way too at this point, now that you know how to clear limiting beliefs, it's like I'm always looking for them, right? I'm not trying to pretend I don't see them or ignore them or stay busy. Now I'm looking for them because I know what to do when I find them quickly. And I know the benefit once I clear them, how much faster I move forward. So, so it's sort of the same thing with these time wasters. Let's find them. Let's figure out what is it that I'm doing, and let's go hard after them, so we can be more productive and accomplish that. So how about this next one? What daily rituals or practices do you have that help you manage your time effectively? So let's go on the other side. What are some of the things that you have already, that rituals or practices that are helping you manage your time? So I heard some of them that you guys said about, I don't let Voxer notify me anymore. I don't let Facebook notify me, so that I get to determine when I'm listening to it and not let it demand, right? Because Voxer and
Right.
Facebook can be very demanding, and email, if we don't sort of schedule it and just respond every time we get a ding.
The other thing I do, I don't know if it's necessarily daily, but like I try and schedule, like if I go, like Fridays I go to the bank. So I'll go to the bank and I'll try and do things that I have to do in town, so that I'm not running to town, like to the grocery store one day, to the bank another day, to this another day. Even though I don't live that far from town, it's like every time I go to town, it kind of seems like it throws, things off or more time. So it's like I try and limit my trips so that, I take like that day, or if it's 2 days or whatever, depending on what I have to do, so that I'm not just doing everything each day. Because every time you drive to town, even though it's only 5-7 minutes there, it's getting in the car,
Yep.
it's like, that 5 or 10 minutes every.
Yeah, so chunking your activities together, that's really smart.
Right.
Yep. Any other?
Yeah, I was just gonna, that's the same thing for me, Michelle. I used to, at the spur of the moment, let me go to the chiropractor, I'm probably in Savannah, and then I'd get to Savannah and I'd bunny trail and I'd check this out, check that out. And before the day was over, I was, been gone for 4 hours, and I could have been home calling someone or following up. So I cut those out when I have a whole day that I can block out just for my business. I try to just do my business as much as possible and not run in town to go do one errand that can keep me away from the house for 4 hours.
Good. Are there any things that you do, like a daily ritual, that helps you manage your time? Are you anything that you have that's just become a daily habit?
Well, I started off with a meditation, you know, after I wake up and I read a little bit on my scripture, then I do the meditation and just like totally get still and focus about the day. And I'm still listening to that Meditate on Christ, so I really like it.
I do too. I got my son doing it now too, my 13-year-old.
Wow, that's awesome. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, really.
I wish I got royalties on how much I've recommended this to people. I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah. Now, once you pay for that for the whole year, do you pay for that each year or?
I don't know. I'm new to it. So I signed up for the year and I've got access to all kinds of ones now because there's meditations for anxiety, for gratitude, for hearing the voice of God. There's a Christmas one. And then he's got another one that he's just creating right now that he's waiting to finish and release. So
wow,
it's really been fun. But good.
And those all come in an email, correct?
Yes. Well, yeah, I just go on this. I just go on the site. I save the site to my home screen on my phone. So I just go right to the site and watch it or listen, hook it up and listen to it every morning. I just put my headphones on and do it right from my phone. So, yeah. One of the things, we'll talk about a little bit, some ideas on some daily rituals or practices. When we go down that list, really be thinking about, okay, where can I start? Which one can I start with? That's going to help me, and we'll give you some more thoughts about that. If you became even more efficient and focused with your time management, in what ways would your life be different?
I don't think I would be as stressed because I think my house would be cleaner, so I wouldn't be thinking about all the things I have to do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's something about that, right? Like when our to-dos are scheduled, we don't have to hold them in our head because we know that I've put it in the calendar. I know when I'm going to do it. I don't know if you heard Darren Hardy this week, but he did this whole thing about not to have a to-do list. Don't have to-do lists. They're terrible. Immediately schedule it. Don't even put it on a list. Just schedule it as soon as you have a task that you want to do. And I thought that was fantastic because we know that we don't do what's on our to-do list. We do what's scheduled. So I thought that was really good. Okay, and what other ways would your life be different? So Michelle said I'd be more organized and less stressed. I'd know what I was doing and when. How else would your life be different if you were more efficient and focused with your time? This is a really important question. Like really take your time and think about this question because it drives our why. Like in order to become more efficient and effective with our time, and we know that anyone who's successful, the number one thing is that they're very organized and very efficient with their time. And so what drives them to do that is this, because they know that the how it's going to make their life different, and they're so in touch with that it's helped them to overcome the bad habits and put those rituals in place, those things that they do every day. Like every day we brush our teeth. Why? Because we don't want cavities. We don't want to lose our teeth. We don't do it just because it's a ritual. We have a why behind it that's driving it. And this question is a great way to get to our why. And let me just look at a couple of other, whys we want to pursue really getting good at time management. Why do we want to work hard at developing these habits? Why do we want to do affirmations around I manage my time well? I am well organized, right? We're going to affirm that into existence. And so, but having a why, knowing why we're doing that is what's going to give us the power to overcome those bad habits and create the habits that we need. So here's a couple ideas. Have less stress in your life, be more efficient, Just really ensuring that the limited time that we have, we all each only get the same amount of 24 hours a day, but making sure that that's not hijacked by unimportant things. Maybe we want to be more efficient with our time so that we can spend more time with our family and friends. We can make more money. We want to be more productive in less time. We want to enjoy our life more. Michelle said, be more organized, do more of what you want. So connecting with this why, really letting yourself connect to it on a deep level and make it really personal. And I love the way this question is worded. In what ways would your life be different? Really dream and visualize that house being clean and organized and everything's in its place. And you walk in and it's just, that feeling of peace, right? And when you're in that situation. And I've got a ways to go with that one. That is not one that I'm there yet. So, but it is something that I know when I get there, when the counters are all cleared off, I know that feeling of just peace and joy. And so that can help drive us to create the habits that we need. So let's look at some of our tips. First of all, is just to set aside a specific amount of time each day to work towards your goals. And then we want to schedule at least an hour 2 times a week to begin gaining clarity on your desires surrounding specific life categories. And we listed 5 of them here: mind, health, relationships, spirituality, and success. So what do I want in each of these areas? And one of the things that I learned from Jim Rohn that works really well for me is I've set goals in each of these areas. And so when I get up in the morning, is I pull out my journal and I write my 5 goals out, right? And then I think through, okay, what am I going to do today to move me forward on these goals? But I'm writing the goals out every morning. Like, why are you rewriting them? Just flip back a page and you'll see them. No, because that process of writing them is so important. Brian Tracy said that if we write down our dreams, 80% of them are accomplished in a year, the ones that were written down. So take some risk, write down some goals in these areas, and take time, schedule an hour 2 times a week to really begin thinking about your desires in these areas. What do I really want from my relationships? What do I really want from my mind? Which limiting beliefs do I really want to attack this week? What do I want for my health, for my spirituality? What do I want for my success? And getting really, really specific and really clear on it. This next rule, this next point, the 5-second rule we've been learning about from Mel Robbins, I love this. We heard her speak in December at the GoPro Mastery event, and then she spoke again at the Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing on this 5-second rule. It's a simple little thing she learned, she sort of came up with, and now it's become a phenomenon, to be honest. And she's actually written a book now. But it's basically that your brain will kill an idea within 5 seconds. And so when you have a thought, an inspired action, you want to move on it in 5 seconds. And so she talks about launching yourself like a rocket. So when the rocket launches, they counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, go. And she says, by counting, one of the things that we do is it shifts you to this frontal part of your brain when you count backwards like that. So now you're in this prefrontal cortex where you're logical and you can respond very well. And so you get up in the morning and you don't hit the snooze. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You hop out of bed. You get in the shower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You pick up the phone and make that call that you've been wanting to make. Or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You get on the bike and you go bike or you go walk. And using that 5-second rule to help you overcome your body's natural hesitancies, your brain's desire to keep you safe and keep you in your comfort zone. And all that's good, but we're not fighting bears in the wild anymore. We want to step out of our comfort zone. And so that 5-second rule, you can Google it. She's got resources. If you go to her website, which I forget what it is, but if you Google 5-second rule, I'm sure you'll find it. The next tip is do the hardest thing first. Do the hardest thing first. The energy that you'll have from having accomplished that will give you so much more energy to do the rest of the things that you have that day. Unsubscribe and clean out emails so they're not weighing you down. I do this on a regular basis. Sadly, I feel like I'm having to go back and unsubscribe, but I keep doing it to keep that cleaned out and give myself a more simplicity. Plan your day before going to bed at night. So before you go to bed at night, plan your day for the next day. And then the thing we've learned this week from Darren Hardy, what I learned it last week or a couple of weeks, is these 90-minute jam sessions. He really talks about, this focus on one thing at a time until you're successful. And he talks about that you can sustain about 90 minutes of work before you start to, after 90 minutes, you have that law of diminishing return. So you can keep going, but you're not going to get as much out of it. But you can go pretty hard for 90 minutes. And so he recommends if you have a project to do or, whatever it might be, whether it's, you have an event that you're inviting to, and you set aside 90 minutes just to do that, or to do your customer care calls, or to do, whatever it might be, you want to clean your office. Set aside 90 minutes. I did this on Saturday to do my taxes. I set aside 90 minutes to do my taxes, and then I had my girlfriend call me so I could have some fun interaction time with her at the end of those 90 minutes. And so that way I stayed really focused. I turned everything off and did nothing but taxes for 90 minutes. And then I got to have that fun break with her. And then I went back in for another 90-minute session. I think I actually ended up doing 3 90-minute sessions on Saturday. And I'm still not done my taxes, but that's okay. That's a really powerful tool you can use if you're studying for something. Set that aside. So turn the phone off, turn the email off, turn the Facebook off. And he said it's hard. You really have to develop that habit. So you'll set a timer for yourself, and you're going to work. And you think, man, I've been working really, really hard. You're going to look up and you still got 72 minutes left on the timer. You're like, really? So, okay, you go back to work really hard, and you look up, you got 56 minutes left on the timer. You're like, oh my goodness. But as you do them, you will condition yourself to where you will just be able to jam for 90 minutes. And it's a muscle that we need to develop. And it's a fabulous way to really be productive and to be able to stay focused on just one thing at a time until you're successful. So if you're doing emails, do emails. If you're doing Facebook, do Facebook. If you're doing Voxer, do Voxer. Set time to be on Voxer 2 or 3 times a day. Chunk it rather than all day long, being distracted. So let's look at a little activity around this. So if you guys have a pen and paper, Ellie, are you driving, or can you do this with us? She's on mute. Okay. So Michelle, do you have a piece of paper?
Yes, I do, because I take notes all the way through.
All right. Well, we'll let Michelle's going to do this activity for us.
Okay.
I'm going to time you. I'm getting my timer set on my phone. Okay, Michelle, what we want you to do is to write numbers 1, 2, 3 down your paper. Okay, so you have first line, second line, third line.
Okay.
All right. And don't do anything yet, but when I start the timer, on the first line, you're going to write GoPro Inner Game. On the second line, you're going to write the numbers 1 to 14. And on the third line, you're going to write the letters A through N. And I'm going to time you and see how long it takes you to do it. Okay?
Are you going to tell me what I need to write every time? GoPro.
I'll remind you. Yep.
Okay.
GoPro Inner Game, the numbers 1 to 14, and the letters A to N.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Wait, my timer is not starting. What's wrong with my timer?
Okay, I'll wait. But what is it? GoPro inner game?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, you ready?
go again. Okay, yep.
Go.
Okay,
All right, good. So it was 24.91 seconds. Okay.
okay,
We'll write that down, 24.91. Okay, now I want you to write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 3 more lines below that.
okay,
And this time I want you to, you're going to do it, instead of doing it horizontally, you're going to do it vertically, right? So you're going to write the G for the GoPro Inner Game on line 1. Then you're going to go down and write the number 1 on line 2. And then you're going to go down and write the letter A on line 3. Then you're going to go back up and write the O for go, the number
Okay.
2, and then letter B. And you're going
okay,
to keep doing that. So down the columns all the way across till you get all done.
okay,
All right. And we're going to start time you. You ready?
yep.
Go.
Oops. Oops. Okay.
All right. That one took you 49 seconds.
Okay.
All
That's hard
right.
because you even want to mix up like what you're putting on what line.
You had to think a lot more, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. So which way was easier and faster?
The first way where you're going horizontal horizontal. Where you're
Yep.
writing out each line at a time.
Right. And do you see why, right? Because you're in a flow. GoPro
Right.
Inner Game. You don't really have to think. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Right.
5, 6, 7, right? You don't have to think. But then when you have to start shifting from one task to a different task to a different task, then you go back up, it takes a lot longer.
Right. And
So-
that would explain how in my house, when I do this, and then it's like, okay, I'll run downstairs to put something down there because I don't want it on my desk and I want to put it in the mail. Then I see this, so then I'll maybe do dishes, and then I'll see this and I'll do this. And it's like, I don't get anything done all day long, but yet I felt like I was doing something all day.
Yep. They say it takes 11 seconds. I think that's right. I think it's 11 seconds. When you change tasks, it takes you 11 seconds to get back into the task that you were doing. And you get distracted. And so that's why we talk about that 90-minute jam session. And so multitasking is terrible. Throw it out. Don't do it. Single tasking, single handling is what we talk about. And that's really one of the powerful time management tools is not trying to multitask. Your brain doesn't do well. It takes way much longer to shift back and forth. And if you can just give your brain one thing to do it until it's completely finished, and then go on to the next thing. So that's probably one of the.
When my kids were younger, I used to take I'd take Megan to my mom's and I'd work on reads one day. One day I would focus solely on laundry. One day I would focus on this. And I actually felt like I got more done than trying to work on reads, trying to switch out laundry, trying to do this.
Yep. Yep.
You know, where it's like, okay, you're trying to do a little bit of everything all day.
Yeah, we thought you were supposed to be multitaskers. We thought that was such a strength, a gift. And now we realize that it's very inefficient. It's very inefficient. So, all right, well, let's wrap up tonight. Whoops, I forgot. I have a homework assignment for us. All right, here's your homework assignment. and this is going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of time, but I want to challenge you to identify a dream or a goal and map out the time that it's going to take you to get there. And I really want you to set time aside to work on it. So identify a dream or a goal. I know, Michelle, you've talked a lot about, I want to be an NMD. And so, really mapping out the time that it's going to take to get there. Really sitting down and saying, okay, I need to get to sales coordinator. I can do that in 6 months. Then senior sales coordinator, QNMD, NMD, however you want to do that, map that out. If you want to just map out sales coordinator, that would be fantastic. If you need help, we'll get on the phone and help you with that.
Okay, because how do I do that? I have my points for sales coordinator, but I don't have my people.
Okay, good.
And so it's like, that's something that's beyond my control.
Right.
I mean,
so we'll set some specific goals. Okay, what can you do? Right. So
okay.
What can you do? What are the things we can put in place to help begin to do that for you? Yep, that's great. And then I want you to commit to it. Really commit to it. Ellie, do you have a dream or a goal that you're thinking you want to map out?
That would be senior sales coordinator.
Okay. So get with
ultimately NMD. I'll be there. Yeah.
Okay, so get with your upline and tell her, here's my goal, and I'd like help in mapping out the time that it's going to take me to get there. How much time is it going to take? Okay. And then we're going to break it down. So if it's going to take you 5 years, and that's your 5-year goal, and we're going to break down, well, what's your 3-year goal? What's your 1-year goal? What's your 6-month goal? What's your monthly goal? What's your weekly goal? What's your daily goal? And then all you have to do is schedule the checkups. Okay. So you have your daily goal. You schedule time every day to review. Did I get my daily goal done? If not, it's got to get done the next day. And then you schedule the time to get your weekly. You have a weekly review. Did I get my weekly goal? And you schedule a monthly review, and you schedule an annual review, and you schedule a 5-year review. That's the way that you become really productive, is having that mapped out, and then helping. And the module will give you some ideas about that as well. So really enjoy that. But that's your homework. So have fun with that. Really have fun. Put some time into it. If you want to do it with another dream or goal that you have, to get in shape, or to, I don't know what it could be. I'm trying to think of to finish a course that you're taking, or to finish a book that you're reading, and break it down into, I want to read 5 books this year. So, what do I need to do in 6 months? I got to read 2.5 books in 6 months. That means I got to read a book a month, or whatever, you'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Well, let's close tonight with, what did you love about the session today?
Just really focusing more on the positive aspect of things, not the negative. More what can you accomplish? What have you accomplished? What did you focus on? These last 3 days or whatever. Just having that that positive thought, following my drive. That's that came to a head, and we talked about it today. So just sharing that.
Good. Yep, we loved hearing about your last 3 days. That's very exciting. But it is that what you're saying, that choice to be positive and to set a goal and move towards it, in that, having that positive intention around it. I love it. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
I like just, I guess, the time management. I mean, in the title, that was just my thing. And I like that I did that thing of going down and just, going across. It's like, yeah. So it's just really making me think. It's like, okay, I got to set time. And it's like, say, this is what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to focus on this. Then I'm going to focus on that. So it's like, I think it just kind of, even though I knew it, it just even instilled it more in my head. I can't let myself get distracted. I gotta focus on this, then this, then this, and maybe, and scheduling, as you're saying, scheduling. So maybe like, schedule, work on this, schedule, go clean the house and do dishes and vacuum, or whatever, and then do this or whatever, versus, I'm working on this, now I run downstairs, it's like, well, I see all this, so now let's go get the vacuum cleaner. Oh, well, here's dishes, now let's go do this, and stuff like that. So it's just like setting like that 90 minutes, I guess, that you're saying. It's like, now I'm going to work on this, now 90 minutes going to work on this, and pick this, and just doing it. The other thing I liked was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just do it.
Backwards.
Like if
Count
you're going to
backwards.
bed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. I like that too.
She said you need to count backwards, because if you count forwards, you could keep going.
Okay.
Was one of them. And 2, there's something about counting backwards that engages this part of your brain more. You have to think more to count backwards.
Yeah, and I think even just doing that with things, it's like, okay, because then I can't. If I do that, then it's going to stop the procrastination
and the negative self-talk. Yep.
So yeah.
Good. All right. Well, she's you can go to TED Talk, and I think she's the #1 TED Talk right now. So you can go to TED Talk and just put Mel Robbins, and her TED Talk will come up. And I have another message from her that I think, did I post it in the mindset chat today? If not, I'll post it when I get done tonight. So
I think that was on the Voxer, wasn't it? I don't know if it was. That's where I have probably like 65 Voxers out there that I have not listened to.
Some of them, it's okay, save them, and then when you have a long car ride, that's a perfect time, or go for a bike ride and pull them up. So some of them, it's okay to save them for, that kind of a, when you're on a bike ride, or like I saved a bunch when I drove up to get JT, and I just listened. It was great. It makes the time go fast, and I was able to really enjoy them and focus on them, because I wasn't like thinking about all the other things I had to do. So
okay.
I did. Mel Robbins is in the mindset chat, so if you want to hear her,
Okay.
Yep, that's in there. So, okay. Email me for module 9, the review. There's a lot in that module about long-term planning, and but also a little bit more again about that why to creating and helping yourself develop your why around time management, and really connecting to that for yourself. And then next time it's confidence. We're going to talk about confidence. And she talks about this. Mel Robbins talks about it on her as well, using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to create more confidence for yourself. It's really neat, because confidence is really just taking that inspired action, like taking those steps of action is what gives you. Don't act because you're confident because you act. And so it follows perfectly after our inspired action lesson today, you'll see. So anyway, it'll be a great lesson, and we'll be on again next week. So
how many steps are there, Teresa?
3 more, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, so there are 12 total. Okay.
Yep. All right, let me turn the recording off, and then there we are.